Have you ever been on a foodie call? A new study out of 2 California universities found more than a third of women only go on dates with guys to score a free meal. That's right, girls fake interest for free food.
I've been on probably 100 dates this year, and I'd say about like a quarter of them have been foodie dates.
First of all, what are you doing that you got 100 people?
I'm trying to find my husband. And I'm also trying to eat. I've got like a ramen, budget and like an oyster appetite.
Some girls admitted to going on over 200 dates with zero romantic interest just for the grub.
It just kind of really irks me when I see a lot of men stating, oh yeah, they don't want women to use them. Use you for what, sir? Like, please.
Hurry up and make a plan that involves you spending some money to try to impress me. I'm gonna need you to come out your wallet immediately, or you're never gonna hear from me again. I'm not going through all these tests to prove that I'm worth a meal or whatever.
Because if he can afford to take you out on a nice dinner and he doesn't, he gives you coffee, it's like he's trying to make you jump through hoops, make you prove yourself. Excuse me? Like, I gotta behave like some dog? Like, are you insane? No. When men start pulling out the hoops for you to jump through, don't ever do.
Good evening. We are going to be watching a video live and break it down asking some very basic questions. Let's jump right into it.
In my experience, I've found that men that often initiate with a coffee date, somewhere along the lines, I realize that he has a 50-50 mentality. Or let's say I didn't discover that he has a 50-50 mentality. I realized that he was not generous.
I agree. I feel like the kind of man that is inviting a woman out on a very first date at a coffee shop is a man who is either trying to be cheap or a man who is going out on several dates and he's trying to save money on those dates.
Okay, we're going to stop right there. Here we have the classic example of a woman that doesn't really trust men. A whole history of bad experiences with men leads her to be incredibly cautious around them. There's a lot of modern day women who actually think and act the same way. They assume the worst of men. So either he's cheap or he's dating multiple women at the same time. He has a roster of women and he's trying to get me in the mix. This is what we call projection, by the way. Women who are always assuming the worst, women who are very untrusting, or especially women who say they hate all men, are usually the ones who have the absolute worst experiences with men, because they keep on consistently picking the absolute worst possible men to associate with. Let's cut to a clip.
The question of the day is, you gotta finish the line. I hate guys that
are nice.
Females be loving that toxic. Like why?
Oh, I don't know, because nobody wants a guy who actually likes them. Like,
are you into nice guys?
Low key, I hate to say it.
It gets boring, and it's kind of sad that we're attracted to like the bad boy stereotype.
Every guy that I attract all look like criminals.
Is that your type, would you say?
I think so. Like, they all look like criminals.
So what is it about these criminals that's so attractive?
I don't know. It's something about a that look like he on his way to jail that just gets me. Like, I don't know.
We both have the same type of man. Like, we like a nasty fucker.
We like a criminal. Like, straight up someone who is so visibly violent. That is our type.
Like, someone that if we bring them home to our parents or show them to our friends, they're like, what the is wrong with you? Why do they have gold teeth?
You should never even have approached that man in the first place. That is someone who will lead you into a violent and tragic death. And Natalie and I are like, hot.
If someone's rude to me, I'll instantly be attracted to them.
You are definitely going to, over the next few years, you're going to have some of like the most toxic, horrible
like felons.
relationships. Felons?
Yeah,
is that attractive?
Felon. It can't be domestics. Can't be.
Murder?
Yeah, murder's alright. Depends what they did. If they're like, sticking up for my mum, I'd be like,
yeah.
I kind of give a toxic people, but I just can't help myself.
What level is the toxicity there?
Up there. Toxic is up there for me.
Toxic or boring relationships?
Toxic.
Toxic. Toxic for sure. I want to be crying. Keep me on my toes. Like, it's entertaining.
Like, I want somebody to be like, shut up, like, you wrong. And I'm like, bro, just choke me right now and fucking throw me on the bed. Like, you know, and he's like, no, chill. Like,
I like to be put in my place. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm very
that's
strong-willed. I love it. Put me in my place.
Now, you know what I'm saying? My man's a little toxic and stuff, but the sex is good. Yeah, I just feel more emotionally connected to that person because we go through certain things and then we make up, you know? So it's like,
you know, sometimes that's why you have to just stick to your lane, know what you like, and, you know, just go for what you like. That's why I stay away from those type of men, because I know that in the end I'm gonna end up hurting them, because I'd be like, alright, this is boring, I'm out.
Alright, this is boring, I'm out. Alright, this is boring, I'm out.
So, women like this are incredibly hurt by the terrible choices they themselves are making. They have to pay the price for it, because now this woman is overly cautious, overly pessimistic, overly untrusting, and she always assumes the worst. That, by the way, is an incredibly poisonous way to start a new relationship. But surely, since she's projecting, she's going to try and find a way to flip it over and make it men's fault when she has absolute power in her selection of men in the dating market, and she has always had that. Let's keep on going.
And so he's trying to find the most cost-effective option for dating a woman. What I find really interesting is I've watched videos here on TikTok where some people are like, I went out on a coffee date, is that the dude, he arrives there early and he's like sitting down with his coffee when she comes in, and he's like, you know, I'll sit here and save the spot. Like, he won't even like get up and go buy her coffee.
Right.
You're already trying to do the cheapest possible date option, and you can't even buy her a coffee? It screams stingy. And to me, that's like a bad way to start off. If you're looking for a provider and a man can't at the very least provide you with a meal on the first date, I just see it as a red flag. I'm sure.
Sure. Okay, let's pause it right there. Here's my first question, and I think it's a very simple question. Lady, why do you think you deserve a provider? At the very least, in the initial stages of dating. I understand that you enjoy provision, that you like it. You want it, it's biological. You want a man to show, and ideally show off, his value, to court you, so to speak. And, as a bonus, you're getting a fancy, lavish dinner out of it. What's not to like? It sounds like a great deal. For you. But again, we are living in the age of equality. So if this man is actually giving you what you want, shouldn't you also consider giving him what he wants? You are getting a benefit in the short term, the meal, the restaurant. What does he want in the short term? What does he want from you? Because you can't just expect to get something out of nothing. That is a terrible idea, because it would make for a broken system. Have any of you heard what a Cobra Effect is? I'm going to try to explain it very quickly. Back in the times of British colonialism, when Britain was taking over the world, the British were advancing on India. Foot soldiers, a lot of them, but they had a problem. Cobras were biting them and they were losing a lot of soldiers. So, what the British Empire did was put a bounty or a reward. For every single dead cobra you find, we are going to pay you great money. Now this is a system that can be exploited. Now here's my question. How do you break this system? Indians started breeding cobras in their backyards, terminating them, putting them on bags and offering them for the bounty. Naturally, there were some people who got really rich doing this. What a way to break the system. But it's not the only example. The same thing happened with cars in Colombia, gun buyback programs in California, bank accounts, NFL drafting, and even goddamn dolphins. Whenever you put a system in place that can be exploited, people with no morals, and sometimes even dolphins, will obviously exploit it. This is just common sense. So listen, lady. A man is not entitled to your body just because he paid for dinner. Understandable, completely respected. So, in the spirit of equality, if he's not entitled to sexual access, you are also not entitled to his wallet or his provisioning. You are standing up to try and defend a broken system. No wonder why so many men feel like they are taken advantage of. No wonder so many men are walking away in great numbers of the dating market.
Very least, provide you with a meal on the first date. I just see it as a red flag. I'm sure it could be different. He might have been used in the past, and y'all know how I feel about men always expecting you to pay for the sins of the other women. Like everybody
Oh, there's the projection. There's the inversion. That's great. Let's keep on going.
has used me for a free meal, so now I gotta make you get a coffee date. Like, I hate that idea. And it's rare that a man goes from stingy in the beginning to all of a sudden he's generous. I feel the same way about men who want to come over to your place or want you to come over to theirs to cook for somebody on a first date. Like, we don't even know each other well enough. Why would I go into your home? Absolutely not. Like, it's...
Okay. Two things here. First, you don't want to go to the home of a man you've never met before for a first date, of all things. Totally understandable. There is a very real danger in going to the house of someone you never met before. You really shouldn't do it. There's some crazy people out there. But the second thing is, she mentioned it's very rare that a man goes from stingy in the beginning to generous in the end. And I would argue that really just depends, because this stinginess, it usually comes from trauma. She's obviously talking about foodie dates, and we have covered them in this channel before, rather extensively, on my first video actually. And for those of you who don't really know what a foodie date is...
Have you ever been on a foodie call? A new study out of 2 California universities found more than a third of women only go on dates with guys to score a free meal. That's right, girls fake interest for free food.
I've been on probably 100 dates this year, and I'd say about like a quarter of them have been foodie dates.
First of all, what are you doing that you got 100 people?
I'm trying to find my husband. And I'm also trying to eat. I've got like a ramen, budget and like an oyster appetite.
Some girls admitted to going on over 200 dates with zero romantic interest just for the grub. Crazy, right? And the study says it speaks volumes about the girls taking advantage of guys' wallets. Most women likely to go on a foodie call were found to be more self-involved, manipulative, and lacked empathy for others. All signs of dark personality traits like psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism.
Don't tell them. Don't make this a widely known thing. It's like one of the only powers we have. One time in college, I was craving this very specific pizza that you can only get in the college town that I was attending. And I made a bet with my roommates. I said, do you think I can get a date to this pizza place tonight and get a free meal? Important context, I was in no way sexy or getting a lot of hot dates. Like, that was not me. I was staying inside playing Fortnite on the couch that we had stacked on another couch. We called it Super Couch. Anyway, it's one of my very favorite memories because I did get a free meal. I did get pizza.
Women are getting free meals with guys that they're not even interested in.
Oh yeah,
or have no attraction to.
When I was dating, there was probably in my group girl chat, probably a good solid 3 weeks where I didn't have to spend any money on groceries or food because I had a date and I knew that nothing was going to happen. I just knew that I was getting a free meal out of it, so I had a date lined up.
As I mentioned before, completely broken system. And there's plenty of women out there who are heavily taking advantage. Now, here's the thing. If you maintain a system broken for enough time, men are either not really going to want to partake in the system anymore, or they are going to make a very natural adaptation to try to survive in this new poisoned system. Men will say, en masse, listen, I have tried being a good guy, and it just doesn't work. Women don't want a good guy. I have tried paying for the first date like a gentleman. I have tried making this investment, and it has resulted in me being financially taken advantage of one too many times. So, I am going to stop doing the things women say they want, and I'm going to start doing the things women actually respond to. It's a very natural adaptation, and lady, this is how you create Pookies and Ray Rays. Let's keep on going.
For somebody on a first date. Like, we don't even know each other well enough. Why would I go into your home? Absolutely not. Like, it's always trying to be cheap. My thing is this. for the woman that he's truly interested in, he's going to go take her out, wine and dine her, and show her a good
If he wanted to, he would. Tell it, sister.
time. To me, the least amount of effort a man is willing to put in on a first date, that's how he really feels about you. In my opinion, I really believe that. Because if he can afford to take you out on a nice dinner and he doesn't, he gives you coffee, it's like him trying to like make you jump through hoops, make you prove yourself. I've also heard about this girl.
Lady, this isn't about you. The world doesn't revolve around you. This is about trauma. This is about a broken system. I really don't want to be taken for a fool. Case in point, in China, a woman brought 23 of her relatives for a first blind date with a man to test, in her words, how generous her man was. That's one way of putting it. Generous. That's incredible to me. Let's cut to a clip.
I date in New York City a lot, and dating-wise, there's a lot that's like asked of a man. Like, first dates are like nightmares.
I got a question on that, yeah.
Dude, it's like, I'm like, what do you want? They got like a checkbox, like, are you gonna pick me up? Are you gonna walk on the outside of the sidewalk? Are you gonna open the door? Are you gonna pull out the seat? Are you gonna pay for the meal? Are you gonna be interesting during the dinner? Are you gonna be funny during the dinner? And then when you walk home, are you gonna drop me off? Are you gonna watch me walk inside? And then are you gonna text me after? And it's like trying to defuse a bomb. Like, if you think you're like red wire, blue wire, and you're like one little thing and you're just done. And it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, I'm so tired of like paying $150 for a first date and then you just ghost me. And the next week I'm like hurting for cash. I'm like, I could have really used that $150. Like, why did I have to, you know what I'm saying?
Women have options in money, in men, in vacation. So women keep their options more. I might love you, but if you fuck up, I know that I will get something else like you or above you eventually. So of course I'm gonna keep my options open, but I'm not gonna fuck you, because why would I fuck you if you're not gonna give me exactly everything I need and want?
The way I've been raised to think is a man is supposed to make my life easier. If I gotta work just as hard or harder with a man, that ninja ain't worth it.
Like, I cannot date men who don't add to my life, because my whole life I've been taught that men are supposed to make your life easier. I literally have been taught that if you have a boyfriend and you're paying bills, you don't have a boyfriend. If you have a boyfriend and you're struggling, you don't have a boyfriend. If you have a boyfriend and you're not feeling taken care of, you don't have a boyfriend. Like, we can take care of ourselves at a certain level. Like, why do we even need a man? Like, if he's not adding, he's subtracting.
So that's why you don't get a family, you don't get kids, you don't get a legacy, you get a dog and your own funeral plot. Get ready for it.
I mean, what do you get out of telling me that I'm going to die alone?
Girl, they think they doing something with that little, you gonna die alone statement. What you think, we gonna be double casket up? Double cheeked up in one casket? Who wanna die with you? Who wanna live with you? Y'all so silly with that. Oh, you gonna die alone. Like, we don't care. We don't care.
If I have to wait to find a man who respects me and worships the ground that I walk on and will take me to hotels and put rose pills on the bed and just love me for everything that I have, okay, I will stay single. I will. Because you know what? I am not going to let these men disrespect me anymore. Okay, girls, if you're listening, we are not going to give these men another chance. So we're going to stay single until we find a man who can do all of that, okay? So if you're not doing that and you're not fitting the bill, off.
A lot of men were concerned about going on dates with women because they had a fear, an irrational fear, that they were going to be used. And my response to that is, used for what?
Insecure men out here in the comments, they seem to think that I just go on dates and women go on dates to just use these people, right? It's not like that at all. Look at how many times I'm getting rejected. And yes, the man took me out to a very nice, expensive date. So what? So what? So what? Get over it. If this bothers you, dudes, and get out of the dating game, or don't date women like me. If you put 10 people in a room and you think that one of them is guaranteed to like be a match for you and be a compatible partner, get out of here. If that's what you guys really think, then your standards are not high enough and you're definitely not being selective enough. But as I always say, I will die trying. So I'm going to keep playing this numbers game until I finally win the dating lottery. I feel it coming.
You're just pissed because I'm educating women to wake the fuck up and raise their standards. No, I'm going to teach women to wait. And guess what, ladies? I didn't meet my man till 34, and I would have waited until I was 64. Until I was 64. Until I was 64.
Why is it so hard to find your person? I'm 53.
Damn.
I'm so ready, and I have a beautiful life waiting for the perfect man. For the perfect man.
For the perfect man.
To show up. But where is he? Where are all the good men? Where are you?
Tell me why you're settling. Like, tell me why. You shouldn't.
Tell
okay?
me why.
You deserve everything you've ever asked for, and I'm here to tell you that you're going to find it.
It just kind of really irks me when I see a lot of men stating, oh yeah, you know, they don't want women to use them. Use you for what, sir? Like, please, like, drop it below. Let us know what we can use you for.
Hi girlfriends, and welcome back to Clairbank Style, where we talk about luxury, handbags, travel, fashion, all of that good stuff. I just want to preface this video by saying that I did not purchase all of this. I don't, like, you know, I don't date broke guys. So
use you for what, sir?
I don't want to sit and text all day. Oh, what do you like to do for fun? What do you do? We can figure all of that out over dinner at the very least. But I don't want to sit here and, from the comfort of my apartment, while I'm in my Zen space, texting you. I don't. It gets on my nerves so bad. Like, please hurry up and make a plan that involves you spending some money to try to impress me. I'm not going through all these tests to prove that I'm worth a meal or whatever it is y'all be trying to do with all these text messages. I'm not in pursuit of you. You hit me up. You found me. Thinking somebody's about to go through all this to earn your attention, earn your whatever. No. I'm gonna need you to come out your wallet immediately, or you're never gonna hear from me again.
End of flashback.
I don't think I'm too far off when I tell you, men are quickly getting tired of this incredibly broken system. And I get it. Women have an overwhelming amount of leverage on the dating market. I made an entire video about this called The Tower of Tinder. It's a compilation of social experiments in dating sites. I put them all from highest to lowest match rate percentage, and the numbers I found were completely shocking. You have pictures of a female plate of food, a 65-year-old grandma, women who are, let's say, not necessarily conventionally attractive, and even Photoshop pictures trying to make a woman as unappealing as humanly possible, ranking higher and getting more responses than actual male models. It is just insanity. Another system that is wildly broken. So I get it, I understand. With all this natural advantage in the dating market, women, especially women with no morals, who are heavy in dark triad characteristics, they want to try weaponizing this and turning their natural advantage into, well, fancy dinners, dates, gifts, and some of the bolder ones, maybe offense careers and trips to Dubai. I did cover this before as well. Listen, you can't blame men for not really wanting to participate in a broken system. It's the most natural course of action. Of course they don't. Let's keep on going.
You coffee, it's like him trying to like make you jump through hoops, make you prove yourself. I've also heard about this girl one time where she was talking about the man said, we're gonna go Dutch on the first date, and if we have a good time, if I like you and all that, then I'll pay for the next
Adaptation,
date.
yeah.
Excuse me? Like, I gotta behave like some dog? Like, are you insane? No.
Wow.
When men start pulling out the hoops for you to jump through, don't ever do it.
Okay, sure. That's the end of the video. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I have to behave now. What do you mean that your provisioning is conditional on me actually being a good date? What do you mean that your provisioning is conditional in me actually doing something positive during the date? So you're telling me that I can't be on my phone? I can't disrespect you? I can't bring a friend with me so we can both mooch off you for a dinner? You're telling me I can't bring 23 different relatives to our first date? You're telling me that I actually need to be present and pay attention to you. You're trying to tell me I need to be a good conversationalist. I don't want to do any of that. I want unconditional provision, no strings attached. There is absolutely nothing I want to give you in exchange for it. Not even the common decency of behaving on the date. Screw that. Let's keep the system broken, as broken as it can be, because it's beneficial for me. The absolute audacity. Listen, this is a woman who got extremely used to a broken system. Any attempt to try and get any semblance of equality or fairness is going to be seen as the patriarchy or toxic masculinity or whatever buzzword is current at the moment. Any adaptation men do to try and survive this poisonous system will be seen as a red flag. And I get it. Women like this want to continue existing in a system they can exploit for maximum benefit. Long-term consequences be damned. And, truth be told, men are sick and tired of being taken advantage of. We men are expected to pay up front. We are expected to disarm the bomb. We are expected to jump through hoops, as she well mentioned. But the sheer mention that she should behave during a date offends her. Lady, that's not jumping through hoops. It's the bare minimum. And she's advising women not to do it, because it raises the standard. If all women started behaving, and she doesn't, that means that by default, she can't compete in the market anymore. That means she's going to have to start doing things she doesn't want to do, which is the bare minimum, behaving, acting feminine, if she wants to survive in this new and more equal dating scene. This is an oppressive standard she does not want to have to fulfill, because it's the patriarchy. So, my sisters, never behave. Let's cut to a clip.
When a man compliments you that you're wife material, my sister, know that you're doing a lot of things wrong. However, when men often tell you that you're not wife material, that you look too high maintenance, you're not humble, that you do not have an endurance spirit, know that you're doing a whole lot of things right. So when they tell you you're not wife material, please, you're doing a whole lot right. Okay? Twasso.
And women wonder why men are escaping overseas in the hopes of finding traditional women. Women that don't really feel offended at the thought of doing the bare minimum. Women that don't just want to take by hiding behind a broken system. Women in their feminine that feel comfortable giving back, or even just giving. Traditional, feminine, beautiful women that actually enjoy doing something nice for their men without feeling like they are betraying their morals and values. Let's cut to a clip.
I'm the so I'm not fighting for you. I'm not playing no game for you. If what I'm not about to do is sit here and make a fool of myself and do this whole pick me thing for what? You see what I bring to the table in the beginning.
Women usually hate that to the table. So if I ask you, what exactly is on this
Bring to the table?
Yeah, what is
I would tell you I'm the table and the legs.
Oh Lord, I'm tired of hearing that shit.
I'm just saying though.
I'm doing something that I'm not very proud of, and that is I am currently making a roast chicken for a man that's not my boyfriend or my husband. We're just casually seeing each other, and I'm making him a roast chicken. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? Oh my God, I have mental problems. Will he fall in love with me after I give him this? 1,000%. There's like absolutely no doubt in my mind that that's gonna happen. It's just like so embarrassing. Like I'm humiliated right now. Like this is, look at, I got it. Organic free range. This is sick behavior.
It's pretty wild to me. They condescended, they looked down on it, they even made up a whole new word to shame it. They call it being a pick-me. I am never doing pick-me stuff because I am the table. Just the idea of doing something nice for their men, like cooking a single meal, for example, in their words, it's embarrassing, it's humiliating. This one was even talking about mental issues. Welcome to the mentality of modern-day women in the West. You have mental issues if you actually want to cook for your men. Imagine that. These women will take and continue taking all day long. They demand provision. They demand that you provide, even during a first encounter. And what's more, they shame men as insecure for not wanting to throw money at a clearly broken system we all know at least 33% of women are fully taken advantage of. We have covered the numbers before on a previous video. 20% of women see foodie dates as something completely acceptable, and 33% of them regularly do it, which is 1 in 3. Now, if you were to tell me, imagine this, just try and picture this in your head. Every single morning without fault, every single time you walk out of your house, you have a 1 in 3 chance of a bird flying down and crapping directly on top of your head. Every single morning you are rolling dice. After a few days of the same crap, no pun intended, you would start walking out of your house using an umbrella, or a helmet, or a hat, or a newspaper, I don't know. You would find a way to protect yourself. That doesn't make you insecure. It doesn't even make you smart. It's just basic common sense at that point. You are protecting yourself from that bullshit. And I mean, it's not technically bullshit since it's birds we're talking, but you get the point. You get the idea. It's basic adaptation. So it's pretty wild to me that even when the studies and the numbers are out there, and they have been out there for a while, that women are still demanding men keep on throwing money at a clearly broken system. Yeah, you discovered the trick, sure, but we got far too used to selling cobras, so we need to keep the system going. And it's not even like it's a very well guarded secret between women, or they are keeping it really close to the vest. No, they are boasting about it. They're gloating about it. They have no problems taking. But when it's their turn to start giving anything back, no matter how small, even if it's just the idea of behaving, it's so against the mentality that's taught in the West that this woman damn near had a nervous freaking breakdown. Just look at it. Let's watch it again.
I'm doing something that I'm not very proud of, and that is I am currently making a roast chicken for a man that's not my boyfriend or my husband. It's just like so embarrassing. Like I'm humiliated right now. Oh my God. I have mental problems.
You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
Oh my God. I have mental problems.
I have mental problems. Probably, just not in the way you're thinking. And I joke about this, but it's really a very sad state of affairs. When you think about it, this is what men have to pick from in the West. Entitled, masculine, narcissistic, demanding women that insist we continue participating on a clearly broken system. Because in their eyes, well, we don't really have much of a choice, do we? Let's cut to a clip.
You're ever asked a degrading question, what do you bring to the table? You answer, I am the table.
I'm not bringing nothing to the table, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. If you want a woman to bring something to the table, go to IHOP. Go to the restaurant where you can tip her, baby. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Because if I bring something to the table, you're going to be mad because it's going to be another man who's going to not ask me to bring something to the table. He's going to take care of the bill, them kids, and everybody else. And you, if you look broke.
And even if I didn't bring anything to the table, I'm still high value. I can bring dirt to the table, and there's still a line of men waiting outside the door just to talk to me. And I can offer jack shit.
Like, what am I bringing to the table? Yeah. I showed up to the table.
You showed up to the table?
Yeah, I showed up to the table. I graced your table with my presence. What do you mean?
So when a man asks you that question, you know what's acceptable answers? Femininity, compassion, empathy. I'm a great nurturer. Things that's intangible. Peace. I bring peace.
Men just like peace, and they don't like quarrelsome women. What the f does quarrelsome women mean? And why do I have to be your motherfucking peace?
Go on. You know how you said, give us what us men prefer. Broski, if at the end of the day, you're gonna have to fall for someone. You're not gonna be single for your life. So you're gonna look for the feminine woman. You are. But if you're not gonna find a feminine woman, guess what? You're gonna have to find someone who has masculine traits.
Which, let's be real, you're not driving a Bugatti. You're not doing that. Also, it's only gonna get worse for you. Women are only gonna get louder and more obnoxious, just like me. So good luck with that.
Yeah, I mean, we are going to need luck, that's for sure, because this is getting way out of hand. I mean, this isn't going to get better. This is going to get much, much worse before it gets better. Again, women have a tremendous amount of leverage in the market, and as much as they preach about equality, I don't see them giving up any of their advantages anytime soon. To say this system is broken is an absolute understatement. We have the numbers, the Lorenz curve, the Gini coefficient. The system is clearly, completely busted. And Western women seem to think they have an absolute hold on the market. But is that really true? Because they are very quickly and heavily pushing men into finding different alternatives to this broken, poisoned system. And that is really not the victory women seem to think it is. Because that huge exodus of men will come back and haunt them, making the dating market incredibly more difficult and competitive than it ever was for them. Now, that said, have you ever experienced a broken system yourself? In your personal life, I mean. What other great examples of broken systems come to your mind? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Thank you for watching, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you on the next one.
So I started doing this thing where I just like shamelessly ask men for money. Like if they give me any sort of attention that like I did not initiate, I'm like sending Venmo requests. And I'm telling them like, yeah, but you can buy my dinner. Like, it's fine. And the amount of people that have actually sent me money, like, I feel like we are not securing our bags because we're being like humble and we think we don't deserve it. But like, now there's this dude that like, I don't even know who he is. He found me on Twitter and he sends me $5 literally every single morning for coffee. I didn't ask for it. He just started doing it. I told him I was like, it's gonna cost you to like have a conversation with me. And so he sends me $5 every morning. And I'm over here like, period. It actually is, it's like my favorite thing to wake up to every morning is a Cash App notification.
In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, I mean, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb.
My last relationship, we broke up because he asked me to marry him, but then he asked me to sign a prenuptial agreement, and I said absolutely not. I think that's bogus. I'm not gonna sign a piece of paper that says that if you leave me, I get nothing. Like, no, I think that I should have half of everything that you've worked your entire life for. And I think that's fair.
A new study finds that despite women making less money than men, more single women in the U.S. own homes than single men, thanks to a phenomenon economists call divorce.
So how much did my divorce cost me? Well, this is a fantastic question. There's direct and there's indirect costs. Direct costs, I lost $106,000 out of my 401k retirement plan I spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half the equity in the home, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, and savings that I also spent 20 years contributing to. I also lost half of all the non-liquid assets like furniture, household goods, electronics, cars. Keep in mind, I paid for all of these. And this is in addition to financially supporting her and her/our daughter for 17 years, which is many hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm now broke, live in a 2-bedroom apartment, and have a negative net worth for the first time since I was, 25. Indirect costs: my job, my sobriety, my self-worth, my masculinity, my hope for the future, my ability to trust women again, my belief in God, my pride, my motivation, my physical health. I don't know, let's just say everything.
And I said, look, I don't know anything about the law. You know, we own a house and a couple of cars and some furniture and a couple of investments. If I leave, do I lose any of that? That was my question. And the lawyer said to me, why are you leaving? And I said, well, because I'm the one that's unhappy. My husband will not do, he won't consider going into marriage counseling. And so I'm ready to move on. And he said, you don't have to leave. Just get him to you, or make it look like he did. And we can get you, have him forcibly removed from the house, get you exclusive possession of the matrimonial home, and spousal support. How is it that a lawyer who is bound by some sort of ethical protocol, counseling me, giving me legal advice to stage domestic violence so I get the upper hand in family court?
I gotta tell you, I'm envious of women, okay? I'm not saying your problems get solved, but at least they're taken seriously. You know? People, you got 1-800 numbers, you got ribbons, there's groups. People give a shit. Anything happens to a guy, it's just considered funny. Some woman husband's dick off, threw in the garbage disposal, and turned it on. People thought it was hilarious. They were, hey, Stumpy, nobody cares.
Catherine Q. Becker is accused of cutting off her husband's taking his and throwing it into the garbage disposal. She's been charged with felony torture and aggravated mayhem. Police say Becker attacked him because he filed for divorce. She's being held. She goes, that'll teach him.
I mean, I don't know the circumstances. I don't know why he filed for divorce. I don't know what was going on between them. However, I do think it's quite fabulous. I mean, can you just imagine that thing whizzing around the disposal? It's like hysterical. I would have just thrown it in the dog's bowl.
Why does the dog have to suffer?
You said when you came out, which I thought was quite interesting, you said, I don't really like to admit this, she was violent, we both made mistakes, but she was very controlling. And I felt like she called the shots in this relationship.
Well, she locked me in the flat one day.
She locked you in the flat?
Yeah, she locked me in the flat. Obviously, me being angry, I didn't know the door was locked. I've gone over, I've grabbed the door handle, pulled it, and it's come straight off in my hands. So we're stuck on a three-storey flat, and I've had to jump off a three-storey balcony. I ripped all my back, all my legs, and I ended up in hospital, you know, because she won't let me out of the house.
Men are trash, are actually trash. Like, I'm particularly saying, hi, you are trash. They're taking it really personally.
Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
Men are trash.
Men are trash.
Men are trash. Men are trash.
Men are trash. Men are trash.
Men are trash.
Men are trash. People hear men are trash. They usually assume that we're talking about, oh, men are cheaters or men are liars or men are dogs.
Which they are. So what do you think? What does that mean?
That's not what it's about.
Okay, what is that about?
It's about acknowledging their place in society.
Everywhere you go is shit. Men are trash. Men are this. Men are that.
All factual things.
There seems to be like an influx of men are trash. Men are trash. They'll be like it's raining. Men are trash.
Men are trash. Men are trash.
You will continue to be trash.
They can get over it. Boo-hoo. Like, there are bigger things going on in the world.
You're trash to me. That's how I...
When I see men are trash, the first thing is insult. Like, no, we not. What the f*** you talking about?
The men that get the most angry
are the trashiest ones, the sleaziest.
Yes. They're the culprits.
Yes.
Men
are
trash has like so many different levels
to it,
you know? You try to distract by saying that women ain't shit. You don't fix anything. Men are trash. Yes, it's offensive. It hurts. Thing is, do men listen? And that's the problem. Like, men aren't listening because
they're too busy whining and crying and being a fucking victim of this.
Well, it's about acknowledging their place in society.
%30 of the males who get DNA tested annually, according to the American Association of Blood Banks, this is over 44 DNA labs testing close to 500,000 men per year. Over 30% of them have been confirmed 0.0% paternity. He didn't do it.
You want the child support from a man. Any measure to establish the paternity of a child, born or unborn, DNA test, shall not be required without the consent of the mother. What? Born or unborn? But then she gets to take my $1,200 a month? It's all f***ed up. You guys are suffering under child support. The woman doesn't have to have a DNA test, can sign you up for child support, and gets to consult directly with the judge on the amount, and you don't have a say at all. It's not even your kid.
Can you take a DNA test? I mean, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? Like, what did we go down the aisle for? What did we say those vows for? If you're not gonna automatically know that this baby is yours.
I think that y'all want this to be mandated because of a conversation you are not strong enough to have with your girl. When you're saying mandatory requires everyone to do it. No, not everybody can pay for it. We have too many other issues that are way more pressing than you knowing the fidelity of your relationship and whether that be your child. I personally pay taxes and I care about where my money goes. I'm not here to pay for so-and-so because there's a confusion about who's the father. That's not my business. Handle your personal and for me, I want to fund schools. I want to fund the MTA because the trains are never on time. We got bigger problems. We have bigger problems. I'm sorry, I'm not paying for no mandatory test.
You are not the father, but if you're in France, you can't prove it. Getting a private DNA paternity test in France is illegal. Trying to prove that the kid isn't yours could land you in prison for a year, plus a 15,000 euro fine.
You know, at the time, I hear a lot of people saying, like, where's your loyalty? Like, how could you do that? You know, I had no loyalty for Anthony. I really didn't. And again, I wasn't thinking about everybody else in the situation. I was only thinking about myself.
So it sounds like men's reproductive rights are limited to the choice of whether or not to have sex and the choice of whether or not to use protection. But what if he's tricked into fatherhood? Or what if he's not even the father?
When a divorced dad was ordered to pay child support for a child who isn't his.
A Tulsa man is ordered to pay child support for a baby that's not his.
A First Coast man is in a fight with the state of Florida over court-ordered child support for a child he has proof isn't his.
It's happening to men across Michigan. They are being forced to pay child support as dads by default.
Doesn't matter if the men can prove the children are not theirs. Michigan law makes them pay anyway.
I never even slept with her. I got a lawsuit when I was young, and she basically just said, that's the money I'm gonna get, and she got it.
Reginald Whitlow, Anthony Sims, and Carnell Alexander have similar stories. They say women named them out of nowhere.
You are not his father.
Oh, man. 5 years in prison.
Miss Sear, you know who his father is.
Yes, I talk to him still.
5 years in prison. That is a really huge pill to swallow.
My name is Gregory Counts, and I've been in prison for 26 years.
There is a lot of stigma associated with sexual crimes. They were looked at as the worst of the worst in prison, and it doesn't go away when they get out.
And then later on, they question the victim. The victims just blatantly tell the truth. I made the whole story up. It was a lie. Like every day, I actually sit there and think about the person that put me in prison. For 26 years, you sit there, wake up early in the morning, you think about that person. I brush my teeth, I think of, just crack of dawn, the first thing you think about that person. Before you go to bed, you think about that person. Why you do this to me? I didn't do nothing to you.
My only dream in the world was to just be free and to have the same opportunity as everybody here.
He was a 16-year-old star linebacker with a full-ride scholarship to USC and a dream to play in the NFL, when in 2002, a classmate accused Banks of in the stairwell of their Long Beach high school. Although Banks insisted it was consensual and there was no sex. But after he was released, came a surprise, a friend request on Facebook from his accuser. So Banks arranged a meeting with a private investigator who videotaped the whole thing. Gibson later explained she hadn't wanted to say that publicly for fear of losing a $1.5 million settlement that her family had gotten after suing the school district.
I may not ever get the answers as to why I was supposed to go through what I went through.
Those dreams of playing in the NFL, he says, might be realized yet.
If I get on the elevator and I see a little white woman, I'm more scared than she is, literally. I'm walking down the street and I'm scared because I know I seen it can happen. It can happen to people. It happened to me.
The terror that if you touch in the wrong place at the wrong time, you may find that your whole life is destroyed.
See, I
and there
like
is
that
far
terror.
too much. Well,
I like that.
As a
I
mother
think
of
that
a
men should
teenage
be
boy, I
frightened.
don't like
Really?
that terror.
I do.
I went to jail 19. I did 26 years. I did over half my life in jail. No, I need to see the world.
So don't you ever f***ing tell me that accusations ruin a man's life.
Она начала кричать, что ее насилуют.
Yakov Malushkin, a taxi driver, made the headlines all over Israel.
Приехал на адрес, зашла женщина и сразу в наглой форме объявляет мне, что она будет курить в машине. У меня работает кондиционер, я сам не курю. Я говорю, выйди из машины.
За что? За то, что ты красиво себя ведешь.
Она начала ругаться матом,
Я тебя прошу, я не берусь. Ой, угадал.
хватать меня за руки.
Руки убери, пожалуйста. Красиво я ведусь.
Я позвонил в полицию. Пока я звонил в полицию, она начала... Полиция это слышала. Полиция приехала, наверное, через 3 или 5 минут. Очень быстро.
לולא הייתה לו את מערכת המצלמות הזאת שהותקנה ברכב שלו, לולא האירוע הזה היה מוסרט בווידאו, יעקב היה מוצא את עצמו מואשם בעבירה.
Я просто был в шоке от этого.
It's a terror, it's an atmosphere of terror.
На кону человеческая жизнь, 10 лет тюрьмы.
Во время...
Я ее, честно сказать, боюсь. Боюсь. Нас сюда пару раз приходила и вот это все ломала и кричала. Если ко мне не вернется, я тебя посажу.
I can't see anywhere in history when women have turned on men like this. Any man who knows that there are accusations against him knows he will probably lose his job. If he has children, he has to move out of his house. This is only allegations, no evidence. Has to move out of his house, and it'll take over a year before there'll be any kind of a court case. The woman, and it's 99.9%, it's women who are making these allegations. These women get paid from the moment she makes the allegation with no evidence.
He spent 16 years in prison after being wrongly convicted of. His accuser, a best-selling author, is now apologizing, saying she's truly sorry. But how do you undo such a life-altering mistake? Here's Les Trent.
Tears of joy as a man wrongly accused of is exonerated after spending 16 years in prison. Anthony Broadwater, now 61 years old, broke down in tears when he heard the judge throw out the conviction.
Mr. Broadwater cannot get those 16 years back.
His accuser was Alice Sebold, author of The Lovely Bones, which was made into a major movie starring Mark Wahlberg. Doubts about his guilt were raised when movie producer Timothy Mucciante started investigating the story as he prepared to make a movie based on Sebold's memoir about the called Lucky.
Anyone who reads the transcript of the trial and compares it to her book, there's quite a lot that's omitted that a reader would look at and say, you know, this doesn't add up, just like I did.
When one reads the transcript, even somebody with no legal training will see that this was just a travesty of a trial.
On Tuesday, she issued a public apology to Broadwater in which she acknowledged he had been wrongly accused. I am sorry most of all for the fact that the life you could have led was unjustly robbed from you. And I know that no apology can change what happened to you and never will.